Alright guys, so in this video, I'm going to be going over the best college baseball stadiums of 2023. This is my personal top 10 list that I put together, and it's mainly a combination of things. You know, when you're talking about college baseball parks and stadiums, you're looking at very low capacities. I know some of the SEC stadiums are a little bit built up, you know, but even there, you're looking at around 10,000, maybe 12,000 in terms of capacity. This is kind of a combination of things. How built up is the ballpark, the environment, and then also the scenic views. When we're talking about college, you're talking about a lot of different areas, a lot of more chances to have crazy cool views, and that is factored in as well. Kicking it off at number 10, it's going to be SIUH Community Park. This is the home ballpark of Wagner College, and obviously this one being in Staten Island, you can see the water. Very, very clear why this one is going to be on my list, you know, right up against it. You've also got a pretty built-up lower bowl, which kind of surprised me considering Wagner, not a big school. But yeah, they've got some nice suites back there as well. But just the overall environment, you know, if you're a road player coming into play here, it's just like a crazy, distinct place that is right next to the water, and that's why it comes in at number 10. Again, you know, the outfield, obviously, there's nothing there except water, and then in left field, just looks like, I don't even know what that is, just looks like some random thrown together shrubs. But come on, these are colleges, folks. They're not going to be state-of-the-art. Either way, that one's number 10. At number 9, it is the Camden Athletic Complex. This is Rutgers home field, and this, honestly, this would be distracting if I was a hitter, like legitimately, with that bridge right there. But just an amazing, amazing view at Rutgers home park, and I do believe they have built up a little seating section behind home plate. You know, college baseball for the Big Ten, that's not the most competitive thing in the world there, but they at least built up a nice little suite level and a seating section. But yeah, overall, the view of the bridge, it's large, and it's just kind of an imposing look when you look at, you know, as a batter at home plate, seeing it right there. So that comes in at number 9 for me. At number 8, it's going to be Eddy Field Stadium. This is the home of Pepperdine University, and this is the ballpark located in Malibu. So you can kind of understand why it would be on my list. You've got just the amazing view. You know, it's not built up very well. It doesn't even, or actually it does have a little seating right behind home plate, kind of built on the side of a hill. This is absolutely luxurious. It's beautiful. If you go in as an opposing player, especially left field, I mean, it's almost like you've got that amazing backdrop of those palm trees, and then behind that, you know, it's almost like it's a hill, so it just drops off and there's no vegetation. It's almost like the palm trees are floating in the air. Right field, you know, it leaves a lot to be desired. It looks like a deserted little hill. Looks like it could use some, maybe some watering there. You want to maintain that area. But either way, this is college baseball. You know, it is what it is. The palm trees are by far kind of the most distinct feature of this, and just its overall location within Malibu. So Pepperdine and Eddy Field Stadium get a shout out at number 8 for me. At number 7, it is going to be Goss Stadium. This is the home of Oregon State, and this one, you know, being in the Pac-12, it is a little bit more built out in comparison to the ones I've been ranking. The capacity of this, I believe, is at least around 10,000. And if you guys remember Oregon State baseball, Adley Rushman, you know, this was a team that's had some success, some significant success in the past. When looking at their roster and some of the players they've put into the MLB, you know, you've got a nice little area there. How about that nice building behind home plate with those windows you can watch the games from? That's another nice little feature. And then that's just right behind home plate. There is some seating, and they also actually do have some outfield seating as well. Another cool thing about this one is kind of the pine trees out in left field. Very interesting. Like, I'm not sure what that is down the third base line. It almost looks like it's the bullpens, but they're inside. So that is a very cool design. And then above that, it looks like that's brand new kind of brick design. Maybe a little dangerous. I mean, imagine going for a foul ball if you're a left fielder. And listen, that's a little bit of a hazard there. Maybe you got a nice little lawsuit on your hand. Let me tell you, if I was a left fielder of an opposing team, you got a foul ball hit down the line, you ram into the wall, you get a little benefits there, maybe with a $100,000 lawsuit. But look, I like the standing room area they had installed out in left field, especially for a college stadium. That is nice. And then just the overall vibe. You've got those massive trees out beyond the left field fence. You've got some decent seating in right field. It looks like an imposing place to play. Looks like there's some nice crowds, a lot of standing room. And that's why it comes in at number 7 for me. At number 6, it is Carroll Land Stadium. This is not a very known college team. I believe they're called Point Lorma, if I have that correctly. But I mean, just the views are absolutely amazing. When looking at this, you've got the water, clearly luxurious, kind of similar situation to the Pepperdine, stadium. But this one, kind of the bonus feature, it's right next to the water. And you've got some beautiful palm trees there. So that's why, for me, this one gets a little bit higher of a grade. Also, I would imagine maybe a little bit cooler playing in the heat with it being right next to the water. That probably makes it a little bit better for the players. But just the location of it, it is literally on a hill. I mean, if you hit a home run to center field, the ball is gone. The ball, I mean, imagine they got a little concerned with like a rock slide or something. It could take out the center field fence. Like, that almost looks unstable, honestly. But that's what makes it cool. And then you can actually even see the waves and stuff. I don't know. What they need to do, they need to plant some palm trees out in left field in a line. And, that would be a really, really cool addition, in my opinion. And then just keep the center field totally clear so you can see all of the water and stuff like that. But it is absolutely beautiful. At number 5, it is TD Ameritrade Park. This is the home of Creighton, and this also hosts the College World Series. Guys, if it looks familiar, I think we can all kind of feel it. It exactly reminds me of Nationals Park. It's like a smaller version of Nationals Park, in my opinion, to the point to where it's almost like I want to look up, did they have the same architect design this? Because this is the exact same thing. They have the press box above the upper deck, and then kind of around, you get the second deck after the press box ends. So it's kind of an interesting design. Overall, the reason why this is on here is just because it's the biggest minor league park, and it's nice. There's no denying it, but, kind of similar problems as Nationals Park. There's just nothing special about it. It's just very bland. It's completely generic. Like, if you asked a computer designer to design a generic stadium, I feel like this is the type of thing they would come up with, But the exterior, I got to give it credit. You've got that glass going around in a circle with the brick at the bottom. It's a good exterior, and then you actually have a nice little stairs in the middle walking up. Nice little staircase there, so I'll give it credit for that. And it does have bullpens, past the fence on each side. So that's another kind of bonus when it comes to that. But the reason it comes in at number 5, it's just the biggest college baseball stadium that was specifically designed for this. At number 4, it is going to be Swazi Field, home of Ole Miss, and this is one that actually recently went through a renovation. This is an SEC stadium that has been built up very well. They've got a lot of nice seating right behind home plate. I like the overall configuration of it. They also have outfield seating, and you can kind of see the renovation design of it. Nice little suites in the outfield there. So especially for a college baseball stadium, really impressed me with how built up it was. Nice scoreboard as well. And you can see some of the construction happening right there in the lower tier section. Also really good in terms of crowd noise. At number 3, it is Baum Walker Stadium, home of Arkansas. I believe they recently set some type of an attendance record. The capacity of it sitting at right around 12,000. It is one of the bigger college baseball stadiums around. And you can see kind of the interesting design with this one. You've got the grass out in left field, but you also have the suites going all the way around the first and the third base line. That's something you really never see when it comes to college baseball. So for this one, also a really nice scoreboard for college baseball in right center beyond the wall. This one's going to come in at number 3. I have heard really good things about this one in terms of the atmosphere. And again, they made headlines like a few weeks ago. I saw that they set some type of attendance record, or like 12,000 people. So that one comes in at number 3. At number 2, it is going to be Beaver Field, home of Appalachian State. And this one, I mean, where it's located, the pictures of it, it is just breathtaking. There is really no other word to describe it. That's why it's got to come in at number 2, you know, especially when they take the aerial photos during the fall. It is kind of sad that, you know, obviously college baseball season not happening in the fall. You know, you're not going to see that type of view, you know, during a game, but it is still, it's like they built a stadium just right in the middle of a densely forest area. They just threw down a stadium and kept the forest all around it, and it just creates crazy visual shots. They do have very small seating, as you would expect. I mean, this is college baseball, and this is a smaller school, Appalachian State. They're not going to have a lot in terms of seating arrangements, but they've got a little area. They've got a nice little brick press box. But yeah, I mean, like, I just can't help it. I have to put this inside my top 2 because those trees during the fall, you know, fall is my favorite season. It's just, and again, it just looks like when you look at the aerial photos, they just built a stadium into the side of a densely forest area, which makes it 10 times more cool. And they left the forest and kind of the rolling hills all around it. So that is really, really nice. And then, you know, there's no outfield seating, but I also think that kind of adds another layer to it. You know, if you're an outfielder, it's got to be really primitive. You're surrounded by these big trees in this forest, and it's just a great atmosphere. So Beaver Stadium comes in at number 2. And then number 1, the best stadium in college baseball in 2023. It is Miller Park, and no, it's not the Milwaukee Brewers' old stadium. It is BYU's current stadium, and I mean, the only word I can say is overwhelming. It's just an overwhelming view. There's no, like, I don't know how you cannot put this at number 1. The only thing that could top this would be like a ridiculous top-of-the-line, you know, SEC type stadium where they've got waterfalls and all this crazy seating. But it's just like, if you're not going to have that and no one has that, you're just not going to beat this view. I know there's no outfield seating. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it's just where the ballpark is located. It is ridiculous. It does have some decent seating behind home plate as well. And just if you're ever watching a game there, like, it's an overwhelming view, you know, there's no other way to describe it. And you also do have some nice trees, you know, beyond the wall. Although personally, you know, I would redesign that a little bit. I would make the trees more organized and like spread, like make sure they're directly aligned with each other. So Miller Park has to come in at number 1, the BYU home stadium, when it comes to the best college baseball fields of 2023. But guys, that is just my personal opinion. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.